So seasons are caused by unequal heating of the earth. So the unequal heating of the earth is caused by the tilt of the earth and because the earth revolves around the sun. So I'm going to pull out my trusty little globe here. Let me get some lights off so maybe we can see this a little better. Okay, so right, our earth, you can see I've got my north and south pole here. They do not go straight up and down. If that were the case, right, so if you're looking here, you're the sun. Everything like this equator always gets the same amount of sun, and the poles get the same amount of sun. But when I tilt toward the sun or away from the sun, depending on where it is around it, right, this part here now is getting more sun and this is getting less sun. And as it travels around, it stays that same way. And so, right, it's going to come around. And as it goes on this side, now this is getting more sun and this is getting less sun. So our tilt, because the earth is actually tilted on its axis and not straight up and down, we get different parts of the earth that get different amounts of sunlight depending on where it is around the sun, right? So if it's here, pointed toward the sun, the north will get more. So as it goes, right, keeping that. And then as it comes to the other side, then you're going to get more sun on the bottom. So whichever pole is pointed toward the sun more is going to get more of that sunlight, and the equator is always going to get the most. So, and then the earth also revolves around the sun, so, right? If it just stayed in one place, it wouldn't matter if it was tilted. It would just constantly be the same. Even up here, it would just be the same. But once it starts moving around, that's when we start to see different parts of the earth, right? So right now you're seeing the North Pole, but once it comes around to the other side of the earth, or the sun, then the sun will see more of the South Pole. But the equator, that line right in the middle, is where the sun is always going to get the most sunlight there. So a couple questions as we're thinking about that. So what would happen if there were no tilt and no revolutions, right? So if there's no tilt and no revolutions, so it can still rotate day and night, but it's never making a year. All the sunlight is always staying the same. So this will get this, right? The north and the south get the same. Everything is just the same every single day and night because it's not moving around and it's not tilted to distribute that light in different ways. What would happen if there was tilt but no revolution? So it's tilted, but it doesn't move around the sun. Then the same part is always facing the sun. So this would get more sun, this would get the most sun, this would get no sun, and it would stay that way. So it's got to revolve around the sun as well to get different parts of the earth pointed toward the sun. So what would happen if there was, oh, I think I read that one, last one. Oh, what if, I read the first one wrong. What if there was no tilt and no revolutions? I did that one and that one. Okay, what would happen if there were revolutions but no tilts, right? It's going around the sun, but it's not tilted. It would still not change anything because these would all get the same no matter where it was, whether it's over here or here, they get the same sunlight. But when it's tipped and it's revolving, that's when different parts can see the sun in different ways and get different amounts of sunlight. So in order to create the seasons, we have our earth heated unequally. Why? Because the earth is tilted and it revolves around the sun. So rotations actually have nothing to do with seasons either, right? That makes day and night. But years, right? Summer, spring, winter, fall is going around the sun, making a year. But it has to be tilted and be making that revolution around the sun. This is like an arm workout, guys. Like, I know this isn't heavy, but it's, whew, okay. All right, so this is the section we are filling out here. So unequal heating is caused by the blank of the earth. I'll tell you this one is earth, so the of the earth, and because the earth around the sun. So if you're watching, I gave you those words and actions. So over here, you're going to draw an example of the first ones, right? It's tilted, so show me how the earth is tilted. And then over here, show me how it revolves around the sun. So you're showing me each of the 2 reasons that we actually have seasons, that our earth is heated different at different times of the year, depending on where it is in its revolution around the sun. Okay, so for these next part, so the Earth's axis is actually tilted. So Earth's axis is tilted. What is it tilted? It is tilted 23.5 degrees and it goes to the north. And so that's always, okay, right? So this is the tilt of the Earth. Tilt of the Earth tipped 23.5 degrees to the north. So instead of just it going straight up and down, right, we're going to draw this imaginary axis through here. So this is 23.5. Here I'm drawing my axis to match in my Earth 23.5 degrees. Earth's axis is tilted. So this is just helping us show this balance, right? We do not get an equal amount of sunlight here and here. So, right, you can see like this is darker under here. This is brighter. It's getting more of my light. This is getting less light. I can tip it, and now I get more light up here and way less back here. You can't even see my pole back there. So let's call this, right, if we get more, so in the summer, let's call this summer and let's call this winter. So it has nothing to do with distance, right? So what makes us summer is that we get more sunlight, and in winter we get less sunlight. More sun, less sun. We're tipped, and then we're tipped away. So we are like right here in this yellow part. So during the summer, we're tipped more toward the sun, and in the winter, we're tipped back away from the sun, so we can't get as much sunlight. So more sun, less sun. So the blank heating, so the Earth is heated unequally. So the unequal heating of Earth causes our seasons. So, and the unequal heating is caused by what? The tilt and revolutions around the sun. So our Earth is not heated equally, which causes seasons, and our Earth is not heated equally, which causes, because of the tilt and the revolutions around the sun. It needs both of those things in order for seasons to happen. Otherwise, it seriously would just be the same pretty much every single day. You know, maybe sometimes we'd get a little like thunderstorm or something, but we would just literally be the same. How boring. Okay? So go ahead and get that part filled out.